Hello everybody, and thank you for attending this talk. My name is Lars from ruhrdot, and we would like to share some very interesting success story today. It's about MBS Logistics and how we use Odoo to ship up to 35,000 shipments per day. And first of all, let's introduce ourselves. As I said, my name is Lars. I'm the founder, one of the three founders of ruhrdot, and my responsibility is basically the tech lead in the company. So I'm trying to work both in the ERP part and also in other company divisions for the technical decisions and trying to steer everything in the right direction. And I have also my colleague Leonie with me.
Hello everyone, my name is Leonie. I'm the COO of MBS Logistics, and I'm very happy to welcome you today to our keynote about how we use Odoo to ship up to 35,000 packages per day.
Amazing, so let's get started. First of all, I would like also to say some few words about our company without boring you guys too much. So basically ruhrdot is a company that has three major divisions. Beside the ERP section, which is obviously also mainly working with Odoo, we also have a data analytics division where we work strongly, especially with Databricks and cloud providers, and we try to help companies out with data strategy, any kind of developments regarding to data and AI. We also do a lot of data engineering, bringing all your data sources together and trying to generate value from your data and doing everything from there. And any kind of further cloud and web development is also something we do. That means, for example, some API and web developments, custom web apps, and everything around that. Talking a bit about the Odoo expertise in particular from our company, we are a bit focused in e-commerce solutions, so this means any kind of shop and marketplace connectors, multi-brand setups as well, so when a company has just not one single brand but multiple brands under the hood, but they need to make sure that everything is working out very personalized and well for each brand. Also very advanced shop configurations with high automation degree and where the performance might be a concern. Talking about performance integrations, we do a lot of general system integrations, so that could also be PIM systems, product systems, any kind of other for accounting systems and such. A lot of process automation and making sure that everything is scaling up well. We have also a focus on shipping and logistics, which also brings us a bit to MBS. We do, for example, a lot of custom delivery carrier integrations, high volume processing, automating everything, every step in the warehouse and trying to get everything up to speed, let's say, to manage really high volumes and so on. From the industries, we are focused mostly to e-commerce, let's say, and B2C brands, so since brands that are selling directly on some online shops and channels, let's say, a bit on food and beverages, fashion, and some other industries, as you can see here. So I think that's enough about ruhrdot, so we can now introduce a business case with MBS.
Yeah, about MBS. So MBS, who are we? We are a leading fulfillment and contract logistics provider with over 25,000 square meters of modern warehouse space. We ship 4.6 million parcels with 38 million items per year, and we are empowered by our advanced WMS technology as well as our dedicated in-house transport fleet. And I have some numbers. I already told you some numbers. We do the shipment of 4.6 million parcels with 38 million items shipped in 2024. We also have 15 trucks driving around across Germany and helping us to bring our goods safely from A to B. We do have 3 optimized warehouses using automation technology, and we do also have 20 plus custom IT integrations to provide seamless data flows. Our areas of expertise is the multi-channel e-commerce fulfillment. So mainly we want to make the onboarding process for new clients as easy as possible and as efficient as possible. And we do also have 10 years plus experience in contract logistics, storage, assembly, packaging, and also transport. Our core competence is that we can also handle high order volume and peaks. And the most important thing I want to mention about MBS Logistics is that we don't want to be a standard service provider. We want to act like a real partner and be there for our clients and our customers at any time. And that we also want to set up new standards, new quality standards in this fulfillment sector. And that's why, we are special, and that's it about MBS Logistics. I think it sounds pretty nice, so the question is, why did you want to change something? So the thing was, our old solution was absolutely at its limits. I already mentioned we shipped 4.6 million orders, so the order volume was very high, and we had low scalability. And also in the old system we had many error-prone manual processes that degraded our performance and caused costly inventory errors. The system was also very rigid, so we knew when we want to onboard new clients, it's always very heavy and very complex to onboard them, and we had no option for a new technology to implement, like warehouse automation, and that's why the system was very rigid. Key features, there were also many key features which we didn't have in our old system. So we had no option to track pallets, we had no option to optimize the batching algorithms to boost our performance, and also the inter-warehouse processes were very manual and not very movable. So in short, MBS growth was absolutely blocked by our IT systems. So we decided on finding a perfect match for a new system. And of course we had many requirements for our new WMS implementation. So first of all, as I already mentioned, the order volume at our warehouses is very high. So the first thing was that we need to have a very high scalability to do those peaks up to 35,000 packages per day. The next thing is that we want to offer to our clients the most efficient onboarding process, which is why we need the multi-channel functionality. And to implement marketplaces like Shopify, WooCommerce and many more, we needed a new solution. The next point, we want to have full transparency to our clients. So we want to have full traceability, that every client can see every stock movement, every lot movement, every pallet movement. And to have all of this, the old system was not able to handle. And of course we wanted to rely on our inter-warehouse processes and our processes internally. So we wanted to have fewer errors and a higher customer satisfaction, and of course the reliability on internal processes also has a huge impact on our performance and the productivity. And the most important topic was that we wanted to automate our warehouse, and we wanted to fully invest in new technologies. And we did not only want to do this because of performance issues, we also wanted to, as I mentioned, set up new standards in this logistics sector. So we decided on investing in 4 packaging machines, a sophisticated photo technology, and also a weighing system. So for example, when one of the clients from our clients has a customer request and tells there is maybe a missing product or something like that, we can every time provide pictures of every single package which is going through our warehouse. So this is a main impact to the customer satisfaction, and one very important point why we decided on choosing a new WMS system. And why we chose Odoo, Lars is going to show you right now.
Thank you, first of all, Leonie, for this good introduction. Basically there was a search for the perfect WMS system. We were already working together with MBS, so we were in close contact and looking for various options. And Odoo stood out as a very flexible and scalable option. And I would like to show you some key factors that made the decision in the end. First of all, we have a very solid base of standard functionalities. This means we have all the different warehouse goodness with automated routes, replenishment, a very accurate stock tracking, and the aforementioned perfect traceability, where we know everything what's happening in the warehouse and nothing's just randomly happening and nobody knows where the stock is at. We have the barcode app, which is already a very strong foundation for any kind of device-driven management without too many papers that need to be unnecessarily printed. Very good for sustainability, of course. And this is like the solid foundation for our project. Secondly, we know that the lean ERP WMS setup of Odoo and with the open source allows for a very fast implementation. This was also one of the key factors, because we had some tight deadlines and the new system had to be replaced in a given time, or it would not have been a feasible solution anymore. And many of the existing bigger market solutions have take a lot of time to properly implement and to get on track, let's say, and this was not a consideration for MBS at this time. So we needed to have something really fast. The flexibility of Odoo also stood out. This just means that on top of all the solid features that we want to use and the nice standard that we want to use as much as possible, there's always the need for some external integrations. This means in a very basic thing to get the orders of the customers in, of course, but also maybe to have some other feedbacks to, for example, product management systems, so that we can even synchronize the products of the clients automatically if the customer has that. And integrate especially all this magic warehouse technology that we will also show you some interesting video about a bit later. And yeah, so basically all these factors lead to that Odoo stood out as a solution, and we went ahead and went to an implementation of this. All right, maybe one more thing that I can say, by the way, about the time frame. The whole implementation for the first MVP, where we really started to ship parcels, was taking, I think, 4 months, a bit more maybe slightly. So it's really a record time for this kind of scale, and it just highlights how lean and flexible Odoo is as a system. About the architecture, so since we are going for scale and we need something very reliable and we need to go like to the edge, let's say, of what is maybe possible even, we want to go for some cloud hyperscaler infrastructure, in this particular case AWS, and we are going with ECS to just manage our compute workloads, and with a dedicated Aurora database and RDS. This is like the basic core of the application, let's say, and of course there's some CI/CD pipelines and GitHub Actions and all that goodness, but this is basically the main stack for our application. We also have connected to this a data warehouse, which is taking care of all the BI and reporting cases, which is handled by the Databricks platform. This is also something we do in our company. And the idea is here that we don't want to shift any kind of very heavy workloads on the operative system, but we want to pull it out and be able to do some very advanced analytics and reports based on that, and also have very granular control on this, because we do not want to grant all the clients necessarily direct access onto the Odoo ERP system. Apart from this, we have also all the warehouse technology, which is connected with some API layer in between. This is needed because we have very high requirements for latency, so it needs to be very fast in terms of response. It needs to perform various tasks and connect to very many devices, let's say. We will show a bit in the video a bit later, but this is how we basically connect to all the devices in the system. We also have a lot of various other external systems which are connected through to our Odoo instance, which is most basically all the different systems where the orders are coming in from the clients, at Shopify, Amazon, WooCommerce, and also some of the clients, oh, something's dropped here. Some of the clients are still using CSV files actually to connect, which is a bit surprising, but it's just a thing, and you have to go with it if the clients have no other options to connect to your service. All right. So let me first talk about the Odoo implementation, highlights and from our point of view. We have done some, implemented, as I said, as many of the good standard features that we have from Odoo, especially in the warehousing section, let's say. We implemented a multi-warehouse setup. We have, in this regards, managing all the stocks, locations, and warehouse zones also here. This means we do not just have a single pool and a single stock, obviously, but we have all the different pallet locations. We have the picking locations. There are some intermediary zones, also some good inbound zones, for example, and they all need to be properly connected with routes and automations to make sure that everything is going smooth and nobody has to manually send all the items from one place to another to keep everything moving. We have the full traceability that was mentioned before. That is already some really great stuff that Odoo is providing. You can scan, you have some very unique pallet labels, and you can scan them and always will know where this parcel was moving, let's say, in the warehouse. All the replenishment, as I said, is automated, and we even have some automations between the different warehouses to push the stock where it is actually needed and where it needs to go. Yeah, multi-client management, also very important. We do not just have a single set of orders that we are trying to ship, but we need to properly separate all the clients, need to make sure that nothing is mixed up and that no client will have some stuff of the other companies, let's say. It needs to be very good separated, and we need to be able to evaluate also the different KPIs and such. We have a lot of custom logic and process automation. Two things I want to highlight because of the short time that we have remaining. We have algorithmic optimized multi-order batch picking, which means we are trying to group similar orders, similar items, into one batch and trying to minimize the walking times and the amount of time spent, let's say, for picking the items. And this had a very great impact also to boost the performance. Custom pick and packing app, yeah, I mean the barcode app I'm mentioning is great. We are still using it, especially for normal transactions within the warehouse. But for the actual pick and pack of the final customer packages, we have some app that is very much tailored to have the minimal touching points, let's say, show also as few data as possible, and optimize everything for speed and scale, and make sure that everything is integrated with the different packaging technologies as well. So this is why we developed for this a special pick and pack app. All right. Also external integrations. Basically, I was mentioning a lot of these things already. So we have the different online shops that are connected. Every client has at least one, sometimes multiple channels that are connected, and they need to all to go to the same brand, let's say, logically in our order pool. We have also connected a PIM system of one client. This means we are also automatically getting new products from them with all the different data and weight, dimensions. That means like volume data and such. Also, some pricing data, for example, and even updates, if they're happening, are reflected in our system. Because sometimes it could be that some tariff data is changing, tariff number could be changing sometimes, and this needs to be synchronized automatically with our system. We can also work, as I said, with flat files, so that means if the client doesn't have maybe some super sophisticated solution or some very custom shop solution, they can only sometimes generate some exports and send them to us, and we are able to directly automatically ingest that and make everything still work, even if it's not a super integrated solution in that case. Yeah, so what else can I highlight here? We have, of course, a big focus on the BI integration as well. We have, first of all, management and warehousing KPI dashboards, which are mainly for the MBS management, so everyone can basically know how well the warehouse is performing, maybe if some measures need to be taken, how big is the backlog of orders looking, do we have some very aged orders that need to move in a fast manner. We have specific client dashboards, so that means also the clients will have some access there and only be able to see their own KPIs, definitely not the KPIs of some other clients, which would be very critical. And we are also to perform ad hoc analysis or maybe even AI analysis based on the data pool that we have on our BI stack, because this is again something that I would try to keep out with this kind of scale of data out of the Odoo system as much as possible, or it will degrade the performance. Yeah, warehouse technology. This is like one of the most exciting parts, I think, for many of you guys and also for MBS and ourselves, of course. Basically, we have multiple machines which are connected through our automation API. We have some decision tower, it is called. So this decision tower is basically taking photos of all the packages, as was mentioned. It is also weighting the packages, looking at the dimensions and volume, let's say. There's a cutting and folding machine, so that means the different packages, like they are going in a very large manner, but they are cut at some degree, and then they are folded just to the right size to minimize the shipping volume and to save costs on delivery. The packing machine itself, of course, everything is being closed with some lid. There's a label that is being printed on by the machine, and then everything is going by some assembly line directly to the correct ramp. Like, because we have different carriers, it needs to go to the right truck, let's say, or it will go to some wrong carrier, so to say. All right, this is like one of the most exciting parts, I think. We can show you the video here. Wait a second. So this is basically just showing how the machine works. So pretty exciting stuff, I think. So what are the benefits that we actually could realize by this solution? Basically I think the numbers that we are showing here speak for themselves. We have a great outbound performance realized by this. We have 35,000 orders that can be shipped in peak times. Not always, of course, as we have very high seasonality, and not always we have so many orders even. A lot of items as well. It's not very small orders, so it's not like one item per order, but sometimes up to 10, 20 orders per items per order. And this means we could even increase our peak outgoing volume by 75%, which is very extreme, I think. At the same time, the quality and accuracy improved despite the high volumes. We could reduce the packing errors and had greatly improved the customer satisfaction with all this. Deliveries are faster, we can integrate clients faster, and everything is basically so far going well for future scalability and the flexibility of the system if any new things should arise that we need to implement. And yeah, also I would like to share like something extra, just apart from the case itself. There's of course some very interesting learnings that we can take from here that I would like to share. I think in general you can, by seeing the numbers in this case, see that Odoo is working great as a high performance WMS in these kind of scenarios, but there are some considerations of course that should be taken care of. First of all, we need to leverage all the standard functionalities. That means if something exists, if it works, do not reinvent the wheel. We should try to use all the powerful features and make sure that everything is optimized and automated and properly connected in our system, and we minimize the manual effort and developments as well. Second, of course, you will need, if you go in this scale and want to get the 100% out of the system, some custom developments, but you should try to do it in a proper way. You should try to have proper code testing, invest in clean code, and make sure that you are not building some system which is going to fall apart with the next development or upgrade. Yes, some very particular things I would also like to highlight. Concurrency and transaction isolation can be a problem on scale if you are having a lot of pickers that are working, for example, in the warehouse at the same time and trying to validate some of the packages. Could be like 30, 40 people running around and trying to pick at the same moment, let's say. Then it can be leading to some database issues and some bottlenecks, let's say. For this, it's a very good idea to use queues and asynchronous validation, also trying to keep the functional execution times minimal so that the concurrency risk will be minimal as well if you have fast execution and use a queue for the asynchronous validation. In general, it's also smart to look into computed fields and indices so that all the queries will be efficient, and this again will lead to lower execution times and it will make sure that the system can run up to the scale. And you should use the profiler to actually understand what's going on. Last thing I would like to say, since the time is already up, sometimes it's also reasonable, especially for us, for the automation technology, we need to respond very fast. The machine needs a decision in a few milliseconds, let's say, so 100 milliseconds should be the goal at least to give a response of some data. So you need to make sure to have some caching and some extra layer in place, because Odoo can probably not always 100% of the time answer in that time frame if their load is very high for the time. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you very much for the talk, and I would be happy to answer some questions, like either me or Leonie.
Thank you for your presentation. We'll wait for the first questions to come in.
Mm-hmm.
First question. How exactly did you integrate with Shopify and marketplaces?
And workplaces?
Marketplaces.
Marketplaces, yeah. So we basically have some generic connector module in place that generalizes some of the processes that are very common for all interfaces. So wherever you get the orders from, you will import the order, you will create an Odoo order from it, and maybe also some contact, for example. And this process is standardized as much as possible, and we try to keep the very specific logic for the different shops in specific add-on connectors. And they basically implement the connection to the APIs and are managed from Odoo with the queue system that we have in place, plus the standard cron jobs that are orchestrating it.
All right, clear. How long did implementation take, and were there any obstacles that you had during your implementation process?
Very interesting question, actually. As I said, the implementation took a bit more than 4 months, I would say, at least for the first MVP. It's a very living project which has grown a lot also since the first implementation. You could say that definitely there were some interesting things happening at the time, because we had actually some kind of increased scope during the implementation. We actually decided why we're implementing to get along and bring the automation machines, which sounds a bit wild, but it's how things went. And basically what we could do to do this was really focusing on the essentials, leaving everything out that was not needed for MVP, and basically putting a lot of work in, to be honest, as well.
And last, being available all the time.
What process changes were implemented that actually had nothing to do with Odoo? For example, a warehouse layout change.
Warehouse layout change?
Yes, so
during... I can say something about this. So basically the old system was not 100% able to do all the things from a functional standpoint that we are doing now. So we integrated a different zone layout in the warehouse. This means we basically had some different picking zones which are kind of replicated. Before that we have like a completely symmetrized system, 10 times the same row, let's say, in the warehouse. And now we have basically 2 different picking zones, or 3 at the time, I think. And they are a lot larger. They are basically 1 pallet on each slot only. So this means we have definitely some strong layout changes as well in the warehouse regarding this.
Why did you build a specific barcode app, and was it complex to develop it?
Which app, sorry?
The barcode app.
Barcode app, yeah. Okay, so let me talk about this. I was talking about the pick and pack solution, and I think it's, as I said, it's great actually. It's very powerful. You can do a lot of things with it, but there are some problems, especially for this use case. First of all, you can do a lot, you can see a lot. It's of course restrictable, let's say, to some degree by access rights, but basically with the different clients we have and very strong GDPR requirements, we need to keep it to a minimum. We need to make every click only as necessary. We need to really make sure that only they can proceed exactly as we say, the pickers basically, that no errors will happen. And this is why we basically went ahead and tried to find the perfect solution for this, since it's like the absolute critical part of the outbound, let's say.
How did you manage the change management / the training for the pickers?
Yes. Change management. Yeah, I think the good thing about MBS is it's a very dynamic and also very open for innovation company. Things have been moving very fast and they have been expanding, I think, in the recent years.
Yeah.
So they are definitely up for change and more ready than other companies, first of all. Also, we were working very closely together in a project team, detailing the different requirements, also drafting some features or how some, even for the picking app, for example, how it should look like and behave like. And this was really helping us to try to get the best out of it.
Okay. Let me see what questions. Do you use some kind of replication system from the Odoo Postgres database to data lake? And are those synced immediately?
Yes, we do have a replica in place, and this replica is then synced to Databricks with some ETL jobs directly from the database, Databricks job runner. So there's no DBT or so in place.
Okay. Do you think about integrating with Google Maps to optimize the route, for example?
Since this is taken care of by DHL and not by us, it's not a consideration for now. And we do it while we do have multiple warehouses. They are also located in the same city, let's say, for now. And this means it's not the first focus. Yeah.
Okay. Let me check. Do you use RFID or similar technology to track packages and automate transfers?
Not yet. We were talking about it.
Yes, it was cost consideration as well. It's quite expensive, so I think it was like first of all scope and second the costs were pretty high. But it could be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, in the future.
Okay. Let me check. I think we almost had them all. What scopes were cut off in the first scope go live, and why did you cut it?
Well, as I said, we had very significantly more requirements suddenly with the automation integration. We knew in the past that we need a lot of carriers, a lot of connections and stuff. So that is like where we basically started. We've cut away everything that's not needed for go live and maybe also some quality of life things. We had like some long nights, let's say, to clean up some things that were not working perfectly, to be honest, because of the small time. But we did all that in the next weeks and months, and so now that is all working as well.
Yeah. And were there any changes in the middle of the implementation that you had to adjust to, or just decided let's maybe also cut this?
Yeah, especially like the automation technology, and also there was like some small details here and there, like some considerations how we are creating the batches, for example, for the multi-order batching was something that we kind of changed radically since we had some issues with this, and yeah, a lot of small things.
Okay, I think that were all the questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you guys.
The rest of your Odoo experience.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.